So welcome back to Fluoro Finance Chats and my next guest, Bill Scott. Bill is the owner, director of Alltrax Diesel Services and has been for the last 3 years. He is also an ex-FIFO worker of 18 years. He's also known as William Scott Jr., Bilbo Baggins. But more importantly, he's my little brother, one of my 3 brothers to be exact. So welcome to the podcast, Billy.
Thanks for having me, Janine.
This is slightly strange, but it's not because it makes sense. So I think when I've been talking to people about why I wanted to set up this podcast, ultimately I'm working with FIFO workers. I think that having context with what it's like working in a FIFO lifestyle, like the money that you can earn and everything, it's important, right, that people get a whole look at the pros and the cons. You've done it for so many years. We've seen the goods, the bads, and there is some really hairy bits about FIFO. And because you're a heavy duty fitter and you've created your own business, like you're a success story, right? So you've gone out as an employee, you've done your hard yards, and then you eventually broke out and created Alltrax Diesel Services. I'm proud of you as your sister. I don't say it to you often, but I'm really proud of you. And I think what you've done is pretty awesome with the marketing and everything else. Might have stole some of the ideas, who knows? But so like for me, what I want to get at is because the people that I want to help are going to be FIFO clients. I've already got loads of FIFO clients in my base anyway. I see so many common themes with my mate said I should buy X or I should do this, right? So for me, I want people to understand that you've got targets on your back when you're FIFO. There's always going to be somebody looking at the FIFO workers and going, they already earn X amount of dollars. So straight away, they'd be like, they're on 150 or they're definitely in the 6 digits immediately.
Yeah.
So people are going to be pissing in your ear, for want of a better word, that you should own this or you should have that, and making you feel inadequate. My concern is that feeds onto people when they're sat in the dongers alone at night and they're going, man, I'm actually struggling with debt or this, that and the other. And that's why I want to bring you on, because you've got that experience. You already know what it's all about. You've been there, you've done that, unfortunately you've gone through divorce. I've gone through divorce as well, right? It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be bad either. We've come out of it in a really good way. We'll talk about that later on a bit, but more importantly, I want to talk about yourself and your business and like what it is that your business does. So what services do you provide?
We basically provide everything, anything and everything. My background's earth moving.
Yeah. So
I like to focus on providing like a tailored service to anyone who has like civil earth moving, mining, et cetera, et cetera. On my team, I've got dedicated road transport guys, and I've also got an engine rebuilder, which we haven't went down that path yet because you kind of need a home base for it. But like I've been running for 3 years now, so I haven't really had a set. I don't really start Alltrax out with a set goal to have this massive building. I just wanted out of FIFO. Yeah. And I wanted to answer to myself.
Yeah.
So my goal was to get enough work to provide job security and money for myself. Yeah. To not have any employees. The employee thing came naturally because the work that I was doing, people wanted more of it. So just kind of still don't have a goal. Yes, now we do, but we're just sort of growing organically, I suppose. Yeah,
but that's because you've got longevity, right? Because ultimately, look, our dad's successful in his business too.
He is, yeah.
My dad's created a heavy duty fitting business as well, and he's been working in it for decades, and now he's near retirement. But Dad has always been old school, and he built his business through handshakes. It hasn't formal contracts. It's not like that. And I'm pretty sure that you might have a different balance. I don't know if you do contracts, but more so, my understanding is that you've built it based on relationships that you've had from previous employers even, or within your circles.
Yes.
And then you've been able to come out and go, hey mate, I'm actually independent now. Do you want to still work with us? And then you've been able to contract to them. I don't know.
It's been a mixture for myself. Obviously, when I come out of mining, I made a lot of contacts through mining, especially I had a reasonably high position in the companies I was working with. Jumping from that back to all the tools was pretty easy because that's where they they knew me from.
Yeah.
And then it was a game of hit and miss, I suppose, because the earlier work when I first started wasn't something that I wanted to continue doing, and it was a push, trial and error to figure out exactly where I wanted Alltrax to sit. The first 12 months was rough.
Yeah. What did you find more rough about the first 12 months in business as self-employed? Was it just getting your feet in the ground, like with the business side of things, or the actual contracts, or or a combination?
Finding out where I wanted the company to sit.
Yeah.
Whether we wanted to just be in there like a bum in a seat as a mechanic, or be someone who actually provides a more technical type of service.
Yeah.
Which I think we're on the way to now.
Because really, like over 3 years, you've grown quite fast. Because how many employees do you have now?
3 guys, and then including myself here.
And that's not bad, really. Because so I guess in the
three. Sorry, 3 guys on top of myself here. 3 full-time employees.
So and then are you subcontracted? Like, are you subcontracting or contracting? What's the difference? Forgive us.
Well, it's essentially, from my understanding, it's essentially the same. You just subcontracting. So a workshop has a hole they need filled.
Yeah.
They call me. I'll fill a hole, whether it's temporary, whether it's full time. But the thing about that is there's no, and still yet I don't have any full time. Signed contracts for work. It's a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, but that's
your work's good and it's ongoing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I understand how it works, but it's especially with 3 full-time employees, it gets a little bit tricky.
Do you reckon then with what's happened in the current climate, Mike? Because obviously we've gone through COVID and everything else. It would have been probably a different trajectory with the business. Like now, is there more demand for your services, or is it about the same? Did it actually not affect it too much?
No, it's probably been about the same.
Yeah.
Yep. From because of my background, when I was FIFO, I was a supervisor, superintendent some places. So calling in contracting, diesel fitters, which is kind of where I got where the seed started growing for me to my own business. It's like doing this instead of being in charge of people. Sorry, but what's going on with that now?
But I guess we were talking about like ultimately the pros and cons, right? So. Contracting, because if we look at contracting based as an employee, you were there as an employee, and the safety net is awesome base, right? You're getting a fabulous base. You're working a roster 8 days on, 8 days off, or whatever the roster may be, 2 weeks on, 1 week off. You're getting your superannuation paid, you're getting your holidays paid, and that's how it kind of keeps people in their employee stage. At the end of the day, as a contractor, you're billing out at X amount an hour. But you're also taking on a risk, because the risk is on you and your business, but the upside can be huge, Connie. Well,
financially, yeah. You're always going to make money more as a contractor as an employee.
But it's not easy.
It's not easy, and you're generally doing the more hard or technical work.
Yeah, because it's not, because it's no different to 9 to 5. Even as an FIFO, you go into work, you come home, and you can just drop it and carry on. When you're contracting, you're doing the marketing, all of your business financials, keeping up with BAS, making sure that there's more business coming in, looking after your employees, taking them on, making sure you've got enough equipment. Because at the end of the day, you're really looking after your employees, from what I'm seeing anyway. They're getting vehicles, you're paying them a good rate. But there's a lot of work that goes into that. It doesn't just fall into your lap. You've done 18 years working away. Some people can't even last a year doing FIFO. It's not as glamorous as what people make it out to be, right? In some instances.
Oh no, it's definitely not. No.
Yeah.
It's got its pros and cons. It's given me the financial backing to start my own business.
Yeah.
I was in a position to save money, basically sell co-owner of Alltrax. Basically dumped our savings into starting the business. Probably would have been a lot harder to do if I was working a 9 to 5 grind in Perth.
What was a risk that you were willing to take at the time?
It's a risk I was willing to take at the time.
Yeah.
But going to FIFO, I'd done for a long time. It had its good parts and its bad parts. Overall, I wouldn't say it's a bad career choice, but you just got to have a set goal, that's the biggest trap I've seen. Everybody has a set goal when they start FIFO. They go in, they get used to the money, and then that's where they'll stay for the rest of their lives.
It is.
They're not careful on how they manage the money that they're making.
Yeah. And that's like, so the things that I've heard, and look, my ex-husband, Blair, was a FIFO, and that's why I know a lot about the FIFO, because I used to hear him come home and tell me, my mate said to do this. And I'd be going, no, because I'm financially literate, and be like, well, we really shouldn't. I was like, I don't care what he's doing, because his situation's completely different to ours. The thing is, there's so much, when you're stuck in, and obviously I've never done FIFO myself. I can only go off my clients and what they've told me, what I've seen from my brothers. But when everyone's saying to you, I've got 5 investment properties, why don't you have one yet? And meanwhile, they're single and they're 30, they've got no kids, they've got no overheads, they've got all this net income, right? So they can go and buy all these things, and like, well, why haven't you joined the boys? But it's like, but at that time, you had kids when you were younger as well. Different horses for different courses.
I can say from experience, so that there's a lot less successful stories I think that you hear on when you work in FIFO. I'd say a good percentage have managed their money well, but there's a very large percentage that haven't done anything with it.
Yeah.
A 4-wheel drive, a boat, a couple of jet skis, and a house that they're what they call golden handcuffs. They're stuck in the debt, and they're stuck in a job that they can't leave because of the assets they've financed or and there's a lot. Personally, I think there's a lot more of that in FIFO than the success stories. There's heaps of great success stories, and I met guys in their 30s with multiple houses who've got wives and children at the same time. They've invested their money smart.
But I guess it comes down to personal circumstance. It might just be the right time that they bought into something as well. But
yeah. Well, I've been working through a lot of boom busts in mining as well.
Yeah.
A lot of my job changes have been bus cycles.
Yeah.
I just got too hard because I was contracting for a fair while, so it's make it tough. That's the best people to go.
And the reason why with the contract and when they go, I think it's from a business perspective, I can only put it down to that. I assume that they get rid of the contractors first because it's a large overhead. Yeah. So because it's easier to get rid of a contractor than an employee, because they can't just make people redundant on the spot. They've got to have a good reason, right?
That's the power in contracting. You've got a expendable workforce.
So you've got to always remember you've got to have a backup plan, and so you'd have to make sure that you've got good cash flow, really. So when you've gone out by yourself, you've taken a risk by being self-employed, but you've also got the cash flow so that you know that I'd like to assume that you probably had X amount of months worth of cash flow just in case until the business was up and running, right? Because you can't just go out and then just be like, oh, I'm going to be on X amount per hour.
No, we did. We had, and especially when we first started the business, cash flow was not easy. Like I think we got down to our last couple of $1,000s before the first invoices were paid. Multiple months as we started, so it was pretty stressful. Yeah, but it was a stressful start, but we allowed for that. And then once the bills started coming in, we figured out what revenue we're making, we can put away, we can pay back to ourselves, which took a little while. But
well, I guess it's like the reason why it's important for FIFO people to understand what happens when you go away, right? You've got good cash flow. It's what you do next with it. So you're given that golden ticket, the carrot's been dangled, you're like, sweet, I'm working FIFO. I'm only a 20-year-old kid, and I'm on $130,000 per annum. And the kids are just going, because they're getting told through Instagram, jet skis, the flashiest 4-wheel drive ever, this, that, and the other, and they're just peeing it up the wall. My concern is that if they, as a young kid, if they're doing something proper with the money immediately, they can really set themselves up, and then they don't have to do FIFO for as long. FIFO shouldn't be a forever game. I don't believe it should be. It should have a timeline on it. And that's only going from what we've seen, like with friends, like mutual friends even, and then outside the bigger circle. It's the mental health issues are massive. Some people can't deal with it. It's tough. Yeah. And then the relationship issues, let's be honest, it's not easy when you've got a wife at home and then one or the other may venture elsewhere, right? And the divorce rate's high. It's true. It's fucking terrible. Yeah. After some lies, but it's awful. And then you think, and then there's been the real extreme side as well, where there's been people that will take their own lives. And we have to address that because the isolation can be really too much for some people. And I think if you're getting fed all the time, the doom and the gloom, because if people are also, they've worked away for years and then they're suffering cash flow wise and then they're pissing in your ear all the time and you're having to listen to all of this, you're probably just like, and then you might have your own issues, and then you're going back to your donga and feeling isolated from everyone, missing out on stuff. It can be not an easy space. So you've got to be tough.
You're right, but my time, 18 years of FIFO work, it changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. From 18 years ago when you first started, it was free range. There was no talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Alcohol restrictions. It was longer rosters. It was back then was 2-on-1s. And 2-on-1 was a luxury roster back the early 2000s. And the mining companies these days they are doing a lot more for mental health. There is a focus on it.
Yeah.
As nowadays, as opposed to
just giving people the tools.
20 years ago. When I left like 3 years ago, it was definitely better. Even alcohol restrictions from the down to mid-strengths, they're trying to encourage fitness on sites, providing gyms. There's still a lot of work to do in that space, but at least at least your 4 major miners are recognising that. Probably some of the medium-range miners as well. There's some pretty good facilities out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was golden. The last place I was at was it was getting there.
Yeah.
Got a lot of way to goes. But, the mental health side of it was talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Divorce that's still a very hidden thing in mining.
Yeah.
Mining companies aren't really talking about that. The divorce rate is very high. I was based out near a town site, the last remaining closed town mine sites in Australia. But, the last FIFO place I worked at, and the split of rates in that town were astronomical. And it was talked about when you're at the bar or when you're having lunch, but then never talked about in any sort of open forum.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of long way to go with that sort of stuff. I believe some people are touching on it, but
I guess that's what the reason why I'm talking about it is. I get I feel for the clients that are going, have worked away for 10 years, accumulated all of this wealth in some instances, then all of a sudden they go through a split, got to divide everything up, and then they're stuck. So the wife's moved on, taken half of everything, because that's the way the system puts it, and then they have to stick working FIFO just to live, and then because they're on such a good income, CSA come in and take a large portion of that. Next minute, and this is from my perspective and what I do as a broker, the borrowing capacities drop down to nothing. They can't even move forward. Meanwhile, their partner's moved on, got another house and living with another person, and then they're stuck paying all this CSA and they're drowning and they're just living month by month. And I'm on 180 grand a year and I'm just living week by week or whatever it is. And I just think it's mad. But I don't know. To me, I just think people need to understand that right now Instagram's blowing up with FIFO lifestyle. Look at me, and they're going on traveling here, there, and everywhere, which you can. And there are pros. Let's be honest, there is some great pros as long as you're aware of what to do with it, so you're not stuck in it forever. And there's also methods to protect yourself financially. You don't want to work for you. You were glad to get out at the end. You were pretty happy, I think.
Oh yeah,
and so let's say
I've done it for long enough. And I'm still not discounting going back into it.
Yeah.
When in my older years, because I've seen a lot of older couples doing that. Hopefully I have to. Business is successful enough.
Yeah.
That's the goal. But yeah, I don't know.
What about branching into doing contracting with the mine site? At mine site, do you think you'll lean towards
probably
that stage?
I'm doing a little bit at the moment with one of my guys. But yeah, for me personally, no, because I'd like to take more of a management type of role. I'm still hands-on, still on the tools now, working my own business just because that's the way I do like it. I do like
delegating.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah, I'll have to delegate. It's my job, but I don't. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's but plus I've got a really good team. Experienced guys too. So
So more so your servicing then reach. So you just where are you focused on servicing? Where does Alltrax work? Are you mainly focused in the Nottingham area, or are you
in the Cunard industrial area? I do have one guy down south who sort of does everything down at Esperance, and then he also does a bit of FIFO. Up in Karratha. So anywhere and everywhere, to be honest. I prefer the Kwinana Perth metro area, because that's where I am. And we're a mobile business with utes. We don't have a workshop yet. We're working on that hopefully this year. So we've got a base to operate out of. But I'm a mobile business. We're fully equipped utes, fully equipped service trailers. So
well, you survived through COVID already, like part of it, and we're coming out the other end. So really, it should be the learning lessons over the last 3 years. You've probably the next 3 years should be hopefully easier because you're already growing. You've already got some employees. Like to go from zero to having employees underneath you, you've already done a massive leap in a short period of time. To be honest.
I don't know if that's I don't have a website. I don't really have a large social media presence either. All the work that we've got's on
relationship,
all relationship and word of mouth. And even the employees that I've taken on, I work with those guys individually through separate contractors.
Yeah.
Sort of built a relationship with them, and then it just happened by chance that they were going to be finishing up with where they were, and they moved across. So I was lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
I wasn't pursuing having employees. It was
just happened naturally.
Yeah.
That's good though. That's what you want. Like the organic. Like to be fair, my business, I've not had a massive marketing presence. Before I was with the mid-tier accounting firm for 4.5 years, I had a good social media presence. I built up my clients naturally that way. Well, I've been doing this for 10 years, and then it's the clients follow you wherever you go, and then you build on that naturally, and it's word of mouth reputation. The thing is consistency, reputation, and then the business kind of comes of its own. But where we're at now, I think, is for all industries, if you don't have a social media presence, it can block out a truckload of opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
That's honest.
It's something I think about at the same time as well. The way, I mean, you've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I don't want to advertise a service that I can't provide.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason I don't have a website.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to tell people I can be there if I can't.
No.
But with the shake hands agreements I've got with my existing clients at the moment, they know that if they ring me, I'll be 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how I like to operate. I like when if I tell someone I'm going to be there at 12 o'clock the next day, I'll be there at that time and never want to let anyone down.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If I start advertising and I don't have the employees or the just even the available vehicles to get to those jobs, and I'm starting to sort of break the rule that I set out as a maintain. You find like a lot with these bigger contracting companies, and I noticed this being a supervisor, you call in 10 mechanics, contract mechanics, they're all X amount of dollars each, but their experience range will be, like one guy's got 20 years and the other guy's 2 years out of his time. So you're paying the same rate, but you're getting a vastly different
different outcome.
Well, you get a different experience base. One guy could do a job quickly and it won't come back, and another guy might mess it up a little bit. Yeah. And I used my experience with that, starting up Alltrax to I'd never want to be a contractor that sends someone out to site that isn't ready, willing, and capable, and have the experience to tackle that job in the spot. So
you want to build around like a company at the end of the day that's got loads of years of experience between the...
Yeah, and it is a fine line, because you want to grow, come in at the same time. Yeah. You can't vet every person that comes through, but and it's very hard, the hiring process to meet someone and then what they're like at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's like me and Sal are pretty set on having and being that type of contractor.
Yeah.
If that keeps the business, smaller scale rather than the larger scale company, so be it. It's something that's...
So you'll just wait and so it's going to be a natural progression for you, really. Just
natural progression, yeah. Yep. We're not,
because you're learning still in some to some degree in some bits. Obviously, you've got breadth of experience on the tools, and now you're learning the business side. Because the business, it's funny because business and the tools, it's matching both, and then trying to keep your head above water, unless you've got somebody that's actually taking care of the finances and stuff like that externally. And if you're doing all the books yourself and everything, it's a massive, it can bleed into your everyday life. Yeah, but
me and Sal do all that. We'll mainly sell on the finance side just because I'm out working so much. But, we do use an accounting firm, but just goes over our figures once every now and again. But it's only just to correct the stuff and just make sure, because,
on the right track.
That's been new to me and Sal. But but yeah, she's doing a great job.
That's, I guess, one of the good news stories, because you've met Sal while you've been working away, and then Sal still works away now partially.
Yeah.
And
So works for a major mining company.
Yeah.
A job share, 8 and 6, so she has one 8-day rotation a month.
That's amazing. They're still
that's the thing. Like you can make the most of it. Like going back to the FIFO job work. Like when I tell people what she does, they're like, "That's great." She earns half of a salary, a mining salary, so she's still on reasonably good income for the week of work. Plus, we take full advantage of the share schemes.
Yeah. That's it. So what people don't know is that, so it's BHP to do the matching share scheme, don't they?
Yeah, BHP, Rio Tinto. I'm not too sure for FMG.
And what's encompassed in it? Is it that literally? Is it up to a certain price point? So is it like $10,000, or is it literally one in?
I think the cutoff could be wrong on this. Could be a little bit less. I think it's around about 10,000 a year. You can and then I think it's a smart move for these major companies, because they'll match it after you've done 3 years of service.
Yeah.
So it guarantees you an employee who's going to want to stay there for 3 years to get this shares matched. It's something I didn't jump on. I was with one of the major miners for a number of years, and I didn't jump onto it until my last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that a few guys talk about it. But I'm surprised not every single person who's in these companies is not on these share schemes, because it's
100%, and it's guaranteed as long as you just stay long enough, right? And then if you've been investing, so if you say start day one, you've got a new job and you're in your 20s, and then 3 years later, but then the year after that, so it just keeps rolling on. You just match,
keeps rolling on.
Just keep some people will just leave it be, but some will take out some money, let the rest roll on.
Yeah,
it is a good incentive.
I met a few guys and girls working away who were coming towards the end of their time, like the end of in their retirement years.
Cash out.
Had a lot of money, and they've been investing, because some of these people have been working FIFO for 20, 30 years. They are the success stories when they go, well, I'm about to retire and I've got this amount of money tied up in shares, and that's up,
like that.
Yeah, and
I should jump on back in the day.
That's it.
It's hindsight, but when you started though, you were so young. Like, you were dead young. You were only 20s.
I was. Plus, I was contracting for a bunch of years, so there is no share incentive when you're contracting. You get paid a higher rate.
Exactly.
The money that I was making from earning a higher rate, I should have owned the shares. But back then,
you're taking the cash flow.
Nobody really talked about it. I took the cash flow.
Yeah.
I wasn't stupid with money either, too. Like, me.
You've done no, you're conservative, boy.
Bought a modest house.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have a boat. I don't have 15 jet skis in the garage. I live by my means. And that was because I'd spoken to other guys in the industry and I've seen the state of some guys as well. Plus, especially when he's going through divorces, the financial stress they're under.
Yeah.
My philosophy was to keep what I own. I could pay for it. The stuff that I had, in finance at the time. I'm not in debt anymore, but at the time I could go back to Perth. If I was to lose my job on a Wednesday, Thursday morning I could be
and it's not going to be detrimental.
Working in town, and I'd have enough money to still live and pay off my assets.
Yeah,
but a lot of guys don't do that.
You've always been pretty humble, to be honest. Like, at the end of the day, you and me, brother, so I've watched you and I think far out. Like, you've done it well, but what's more important to you and Sal, though, and I love Sal to bits. Like, you travel a lot. You're more about life experiences as well. So you're not just hammering. I'm a bit obsessed and I'm a bit too stuck in my business at the moment, and I'm hoping I'll change things as I move on, so that they've got more autonomy within the business, and then I don't have to be working so hard in it. But I've always watched us and gone, far out, man, they're traveling all over the world, like, because you've got
that's the last 3 years since you started the business.
Yeah,
so,
but you'll get there again though. But like, when you were both FIFO, you utilised that time. You took a week off and then you got yourself 3 weeks, and that's a pro, right? So being an employee to one of the majors, you can take that time out, and then you've got 3 weeks, and then but you're getting paid for your leave as well.
Yeah.
But and then you can go and travel around the world. You can do all sorts. But it's like the contractor bit is you don't get your holidays paid. You get a massive pay rate.
Yeah, it depends on sort of what sort of contract. Because I was working with contract companies which didn't pay holidays and sick pay.
There you go.
But just didn't have the benefits, like the share incentives or the healthcare. Like the healthcare is a massive one.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks about that either. Private health rebates that the major companies give back to you.
Yeah.
You didn't get them contracting, but you also got the high hourly rate.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're at and what you want to do, I suppose. It's like if you want to go into mining, smash and grab, make some money, set yourself for your plan, or contracting.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask for leave. You go contract. If you want to go away for 2 months, go on a holiday, you stop working.
Yeah.
When you come back, you fire your contract back up.
Milk the system.
But if you want to go and you've got a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan and you want to get more money in your super through via selling sacrifice, if you want to capitalise on shares, then you go for full-time employed one of these companies.
Yeah.
But the main thing is with all the tours, having a goal when you get in there, not just going in, getting the money and
buying the toys.
Yeah. Go get yourself a brand new Land Cruiser.
It's attractive though when you see in the bank balance, because the net pay, you'd be like bringing in 10 grand a month or something. And
that plus
if not more, depending on how long you've worked away, and you can afford anything, really. They're just throwing money at you. The banks will be throwing money at you. The personal lenders are straight on you. Credit cards, but that's where people start accumulating all this personal.
Yeah, I've never
did that.
I've never had to worry about it.
Because you paid for stuff in cash.
Well, you haven't had to worry about my finances until I started my own business. That's the only time. I'm not quite smart with money, but I've never really had to think about it when I was working away.
Yeah.
I always had X amount to save, and then X amount for other outgoings.
Yeah.
It was always a pool there to do whatever you want to do.
So I guess the trap that what we're trying to say is just don't be fooled by the dangled carrot, which is seeing all of that money sat in the bank. Make sure that you keep an X amount aside to protect you for your future, so you're not having to work away forever. Put it into the home loan or put it into get rid of your debts. Just try and smash. Don't get into personal debt for sure. For starters, at the end of the day, if you're bringing in, even if you're bringing in 8 grand and you're living off 4 grand a month, put away 2 grand a month.
Yep.
And then buy the car in cash for 20 grand. Or if I know you want to go for, somebody wants to go for a brand new Ford Ranger and it's $50,000-$60,000, then maybe you might want to finance half of it. But the personal loan trap is real. Because I see it time and time again with the FIFO clients. You're really an anomaly because you've never done it. I've watched you buying, like you love your motorbikes, you've bought and sold those. I don't do it anymore.
I've never been a fan of debt.
But that's a golden rule, I think. If you go to yourself, you're never going to get handcuffed with the credit cards and the high interest rates. That's the trap, I think, with the FIFO world.
Yeah.
Look,
some of them, like the bigger companies, they could probably put more focus on that, because it does tie into the mental health aspect too.
Yeah.
A lot of guys they're depressed because they're stuck in a mindset because they've got these outgoings that are not going to go away.
Well,
I don't know. The onus really shouldn't be on the company. I just said that. But the onus really shouldn't be on the big companies. It's just, I think those two issues, like the mental health and the financial responsibilities, they do tie in together. And it is, like you say, isn't something that's spoken about a lot one side. I know some guys who are on $180,000 a year and they still don't have much money at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is. But you can't.
I guess from my perspective, then, and that's why I want to do this, is because I know how to help them get out of it. So most people, they feel embarrassed to talk about it because they don't want to feel like a failure, because people assume, oh, you're working away, you'll be fine. But I'm struggling, mate. I've got 10% equity in my house and I've got all these personal debts. If I sold everything, I'd be in negative.
Yeah.
They actually do it because because they can afford it, they take out all the equity in the home, get the toys. Next minute, the missus splits up with them and you've got absolutely zero. And then they've got to start all over again. I've just worked away for 15 years and now I'm starting from scratch. And it's like, well, I want to be there as that person that they can come and have the conversations with and say, is there an exit strategy? How the hell do I get out of this? Because it is what it is. Nobody's talking about it, but the mental health and the financial health are directly correlated. Because if you're struggling, it's going to impact you mentally. And then if you every month you just go into work just to earn enough just to repay, you're not living.
No,
like you'd be struggling.
They call golden handcuffs when you FIFO. Land Cruisers, you've got yourself a golden handcuffs. So you're tied to employment for another. Whatever the loan term of that vehicle is. You haven't got the freedom to dip in and dip out as you want.
Yeah.
If you got
sell the toys.
Sell the toys. Yeah.
Simple solution to start with.
As a supervisor.
Seriously, I'll look at it and go, you've got 2 motorbikes, 3 utes. Sell the toys, get rid of the toys, and then get rid of that personal debt first. And then if you've still got a residual bit, I'm sure you can, because you don't have repayments anymore, you can get rid of the little bit of residual, and then you start working on other stuff. Like, there is ways to get out, but sometimes they need somebody independently to look at it and go, I'll just clear all the mess, and here's your plan. So you can just get, because otherwise you're stuck in a perpetual cycle. I've seen through my client base, it's either they're doing really well or they're just struggling. There doesn't seem to be many people right in the middle where they're just like, nah, I'm all right. They've still got a bit left over. Yeah. It's just the extremes.
Yeah. I have worked with a few people a few people who are quite financially well off, and they still do FIFO. Because of the lifestyle it gives them, it gives them the time off. It's something I do miss.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to you about this.
Yeah.
Working at 8 and 6 to have my own business where majority of the week I'm working 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I miss some of my week off. Yeah, those 6 days or 7 days, whatever your roster is, or even 2 weeks, it's enjoyable having that free time.
But and again, because that's the thing, because sometimes you can go, I don't want to work away, but then when you take a sit back and you go, shit, it was good. I had it all.
We use Sal as an example. She does, 8 days a month, and she still dreads going there.
Yeah.
But then once she's there, she goes, you know what, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Job's she works a reasonably good crew of people. So, yes, she does it. She knows, when I finish this, I've got 3 weeks off. Not that she's off at home, not working, because then she comes straight back into to running our own business. But
like I say, we've already talked for like 45 minutes. I knew they'd go dead fast. On a personal note, I was thinking the other night, I was like, I guess there's what was it? My bloody pet name, not pet name. What was it? Remember when I was younger? So from Wayne's World.
Gas.
Go on, then you can tell everyone why was my nickname Gas as a kid?
Because your hair was stuck on, and you looked intimidating. And it was shockingly blonde.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody believes I was blonde. So the girls, I've got 2 daughters, obviously Taylor and Sienna, and they're 14 and 16, and they've got blonde hair. It's gone a little bit darker as they got older, like mine did. But when I was younger, I had skinny lips, white hair. I went out of that, yeah.
Yeah, stuck up like this.
And I was called Garth, which is a horrible bloody nickname, but at least you're called Bilbo Baggins because you've got hairy toes. But yeah, I appreciate you coming in and having a chat with us, Bill. Like, the truth is, you've worked away, you've done the hard yards. I'm really proud of this business that you've built. Like, Alltrax it's a cool brand. I reckon it's sensational.
Yeah, I was not looking at you asked me at the beginning. I was a little bit flustered, but I just started the podcast. But I'm not one for selling my own business.
No.
The only thing we do provide is, we're experienced.
Yeah.
I'm 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Experience. I think we've figured it out between me and the other 3 guys, because I've got quite mature, really knowledgeable guys working for me. We've got over 130 odd years experience with us. We're just,
You just want people that can get the job done, don't you, at the end of the day?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I want to sell a business. Yeah, I'm not advertising at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fact that we've grown organically shows that I must be doing something.
Yeah, that's it.
We guys out when they
yeah. We can still reach out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have you back on anyways, because I think we talked about a bit more of the dark stuff about FIFO. I should really talk about the peppier side, but we can do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives to talk about, and I try to push it a bit. It's good to me.
Yeah.
Talk about it more, but yeah, there is a lot of pros.
There is.
I think there's more pros than cons.
But you've got to be realistic about it all, right? I'm just done with everything's like it's social media. The
social media barrage at the moment seems to be, it seems to be
glamorized, and you're like, hang on a minute, just take a moment to breathe, think about what's really good for you, and have the knowledge base so that you go, shit, okay, I need to know the pros and the cons before I move into this. It's not going to be for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone.
Definitely not for it.
And you've got to be mentally prepared for that as well. But thanks so much, Bilbao, and yeah, I'll have you on again soon.
Yes.